They said dogs can't understand goodbyes. But that morning, he did. The air was soft with mist, the kind that clings to everything and turns sound into memory. A small rural road lay quiet except for the hum of an approaching engine. The boy stood beside the faded bus stop sign, his uniform still damp from washing, a blue backpack hanging awkwardly from his shoulder. The dog sat by his leg, tail sweeping across the ground, eyes lifted, waiting for something it couldn't name. The bus came slower than usual that day, sighing as it stopped. The door opened with a tired hiss. The boy hesitated, then reached down and rubbed the dog's head. No words, just a touch that said everything. The kind of touch that tries to memorize a heartbeat. Then he stepped onto the bus. For a moment, the dog didn't move. He just stared, ears perked, eyes flickering between hope and confusion. The boy turned once, pressed his palm against the window, and smiled, though his eyes didn't. The dog tilted its head. Then the bus began to move, and that was when he ran. Paws splashed against wet asphalt, the leash dragging behind him, bouncing like a shadow trying to keep up. He ran beside the bus, breath heavy, eyes locked on the back window. Inside, the boy twisted in his seat, watching as the distance between them grew. The bus turned the corner. The dog didn't stop. He ran until the road became a blur, until his legs trembled and the sound of the engine faded into something too far to chase. And when the silence finally caught him, he slowed, then stood still. The world around him felt too big, too quiet. He looked down the road again, but there was nothing left except the marks of his paws in the puddles, already fading. He walked home alone. The yard was empty. The morning sun had risen higher, burning through the mist, revealing everything that wasn't there. The small bowl by the door, the open gate, the smell of soap from the mother who had cried all night. The dog sat beside the steps, panting softly. Every sound, a passing bike, the neighbor's rooster, the whisper of wind made his ears twitch, but no footsteps came back. Days passed the way rain passes quietly, without asking. Every morning, before the bus arrived, he went back to that spot. He'd sit by the sign, tail curled around his body, watching the road. When the bus came, he'd stand, ears lifting, eyes searching every window, but it was never the same face. And still, he waited. Sometimes, a schoolgirl would toss him a piece of bread. Sometimes, the driver would honk softly, amused that the same dog showed up each day like clockwork. People thought it was funny. They didn't know the story. To them, he was just another stray, waiting for nothing. But the truth is, he wasn't waiting for nothing. He was waiting for everything. Rain came and went. The collar around his neck began to rust. His fur grew rough, his eyes older. But the routine never changed. Morning, he'd wake when the first light hit the gate. Afternoon, he'd wander to the small field behind the house, sniffing the air like he could catch a scent that might lead him somewhere. Evening, he'd return, curl up beside the bowl, and dream. In his dreams, the sound of the bus never faded. It slowed down, stopped. The door opened, and the boy stepped out, calling his name. One morning, the bus came earlier than usual. The mist was thick again, just like that first day. The driver noticed the dog sitting closer to the road than before. He slowed, worried it might dart forward. But the dog didn't move. He simply stood, head tilted, eyes bright. Maybe he heard something. Maybe he didn't. The bus passed, kicking up a light spray of water. The dog turned his head, following it, but he didn't run this time. He just watched the same way the boy had once watched him disappear behind a window. And then, as the bus vanished around the bend, he sat down. He stayed there long after the sound had gone, the leash still trailing on the wet ground, the sky beginning to clear. The wind picked up, carrying with it the faintest scent soap, maybe, or the fabric of a school uniform, or just something he wanted to believe in. He closed his eyes, and for a brief moment, the world felt small again, manageable, almost warm. Some people say animals live only in the present, that they don't remember, don't mourn, don't hope. But maybe that's just what we tell ourselves to feel less guilty for leaving. Because if you stood there that morning, you'd have seen it. The stillness, the waiting, the quiet ache that looked far too human. Weeks turned into months. The bus stop sign grew rusty. The field changed color with the season. But each dawn, before the engine started, before the first light touched the road, a faint shape would appear in the mist, sitting, waiting, watching the curve where the bus always disappeared. They said dogs can't understand goodbyes, but maybe they understand something deeper, the kind of love that stays even when it's no longer seen. Maybe he wasn't chasing the bus at all. Maybe he was chasing the memory of being loved. And somehow, that was enough. And if one day you drive down a quiet country road and see a dog sitting by an old bus stop, don't honk. Slow down, because maybe, just maybe, someone once promised they'd be back, and he's still waiting for them to keep that promise.